So this is what is installed and hot. And then this morning I was putting in the posts for the other two enclosures down here. So let's take just a little walk. The idea here is basically to keep the horses out of this until the grass gets a chance to get, 1.5 to 2 feet tall. You're looking for it to get so mature that you have some dead leaves at the base of the plant. And that's when you know that your root system is at maximum. And then you open up the fence, you let the animals graze it really hard all the way down, mow down anything they didn't eat, and then you lock them back out of it again while it recovers. And this cycle is what starts to restore the soil. That growth of the roots and then dieback of the roots is what fluffs up the soil and adds organic matter. So I'm taking you over here because I want to show you how we energize the fence. This is an insulated buried line, and we just sliced into the turf and slipped it under and then stomped the turf back down. So this is the connector here. And we're calling this Groundhog South because this is the Groundhog hiking trail. So that's Groundhog South. This is Groundhog North. And at this stage, by the way, we're not real concerned about what the exact dimensions are of these. We're basically trying to accommodate the walking paths and the horses' preferred places to travel, and also keep the horses off of the groundhog holes. So that's how we made our decisions. We've got another trail that cuts right through there, so that's a gap in the fence where they skirt around the perimeter. And I'm just following the bike trail here to show you the unfinished fence. And what we have here is, we're calling this one the lowland enclosure, or the lowland pasture, because we are, I don't know if you can see this very well, but this is a water collection drainage ditch right here, and it runs all the way down to the end of the pasture at both sides. This is also how they collect the runoff to feed the springs. And this is a really handy thing on a permaculture farm. We were very blessed that this was already here when we came. But here are the established trails. And so we're just using the trails to split up the different islands of pasture. And I'm headed for some shade so I can show you the rest. So that's the northern tip of North Groundhog right there. And then you can just see a fence post hidden in the goldenrod right here. And this is the fence going in for the lowland pasture. And we were able to capture down there the automatic waterer and the spring inside of that, and also access to the pollard storage shed down there. So this is probably going to end up being sheep and goat pasture rather than horses in here. We do need to knock the goldenrod back first. And then following this trail again here, it makes a natural division. Wow, that sun's hot. So we're following the trail here, and you can see the trail goes right up between the existing Groundhog North and what we're calling grass patch right here. Now, the question was, why did you split grass patch, this part, off from lowland, which is on the other side of the drainage ditch? The reason for that division is grass patch is slightly different soil, different terrain, different vegetation. It's really well suited for the horses, and there is already grass established, as you can see. Whereas the lowland is a lot of stumps and brush and autumn olive, and what you can't see in there is there's a bunch of drainage ditches and springs that dump out. So that's really much more suitable for goats and sheep than it is for horses. So we're just going to follow this walking trail back here. So that is the official start of our regenerative rotational grazing, and we hope to get these in by the end of the week, and then we move up to Deer Meadow and also over to Nasser and Lucky's pasture. So that is a quick tour of what we are doing with rotational grazing. And the really cool thing about this is we let the horses set the boundaries. So we gave the horses time to establish all of these trails first, and then we are creating islands of protected grass with the trails dividing them. So these become exercise routes for the horses, which is a really nice way to work in conjunction with the horses rather than trying to fight against them. And it also encourages them to keep moving more. Anytime you have trails, the horses tend to be funneled ahead and keep moving, whereas in enclosed pastures, they tend to be a lot more sedentary. So